the Everything But Politics podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to this edition of the Everything But Politics podcast. And with us today is a fellow Midwesterner, founder, father, and entrepreneur, Tyler Johnson. Tyler, welcome, brother. It's great to meet you.
Yeah, nice to be on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Likewise.
Tyler, why don't we start this thing off by you giving our listeners some background into who you are and what you have created.
Yeah, so I'm Tyler Johnson. I'm a 36-year-old dad of two, and we're going to have another child coming in about 3 weeks. Well,
Congrats.
I don't know when the podcast is going to be released, but yeah, March 18th is a due date for our third. Played golf throughout high school, and then played at the University of Northern Iowa competitively for 4 years in college. After college, sort of didn't play very much, honestly. I moved to Kansas City, didn't play a whole lot, like here and there, maybe a handful of times, but really sort of lost that playing competitive in college. It sort of takes a lot out of you. You sort of lose a little bit of what golf is really about, just from the mental grind of it, the everyday. So I didn't play a whole lot there for probably 8 years or so, and picked it back up again pretty heavily about 2019 or so, and started playing a lot more. And then Charlie Golf is the company that I founded and started, would have been 15 months ago, literally in my garage. And it basically came out of me wanting to play golf with my, at that time, 3-year-old kid. We used to go to the driving range quite a bit. Once the daughter was born, and it was a way for us to get out of the house to go play some golf, go to the driving range for an hour or two, whatever, get outside, burn some energy, just have something to do. And he never had a bag for his clubs. He always had like cut down clubs that my dad made him, but he never had a bag. And that's really the origin of how Charlie Golf got started, was basically that toddler carry bag is what the company was really founded on. We've sort of evolved a little bit since then.
That's
Very
amazing,
cool.
Tyler. Now, can you kind of tell our listeners the process in actually making a bag?
Yeah, so the process of making the bag, like I'm not making the bags, like we're working with the manufacturer to make them, but it was a lot of back and forth with a manufacturer of the design, and then the design going to the manufacturer sending samples, looking over the samples, testing the samples, and then making iterations on those to meet what we really wanted to have. One of the biggest things for us was the shoulder strap was a big pain. It took us a long time to sort of figure that out. And you wouldn't think it would be a big deal, but for a 3-year-old kid, it's a big deal because it needs to be flexible enough. It needs to be skinny. It can't take up their entire shoulder. Like, it has to be able to wrap around their shoulder when they're carrying it. So that took a little while to figure out, but basically going back and forth with the manufacturer, getting it, that design finalized, production ready, and then, placing the first order. And then, when I placed that first order, it was sort of, I had no idea what to expect. And then it sort of really has taken off. I mean, it took off from there.
Yep.
Awesome. And, with that, do you account for the fact that, it's for the 3-year-old, but that 3-year-old's going to grow a lot in the next couple of years?
Yeah, we have, the 3 to 5-year-old is really what the bags are for right now. And that's really what my son is. My oldest kid is in that range right now. We're already looking at, releasing junior bags and junior club sets as well. And I have like prototypes behind me of the stand. They're going to be stand bags this time around, but they sort of have a feel of the old Ping Hoofer, if you guys are familiar, like one of the very old, like it has a vintage feel to it, similar to the toddler carry bags that we have. But yeah, we're looking at that junior market next, the 5 to 8-year-old. Knowing that those kids are going to grow up. Hopefully they have a really good experience with us, at Charlie Golf. They know who we are, and they can have that next set from Charlie Golf.
Now, are you
Nice.
still shipping out of your garage?
Yes, currently I am. So everything is based out of our garage right now. It was transformed at that time, back in November. We have a two-stall garage, it's a detached two-stall garage. We were using one stall back in, November of 2023. And then at a certain time, the cars were parked in the driveway. We made it through the winter with the cars out in the driveway. It's, not ideal, but it works.
Yep.
Like specifically like starting a new business, like trying to keep overhead costs low. We did what we had to do. But we're pushing the limits of it right now. I've already looked at warehouse space, have a spot reserved, like a 1,500 square foot warehouse
Nice.
flex space reserved. Because the one thing, when you start growing to different product lines, and I start realizing this now, the junior stand bags, take up a lot more space than the toddler carry bags. Toddler carry bags don't have a structure, like a lot of structure, in them.
Mm-hmm.
So they can sort of be folded down in a way and get a lot more in a box. Whereas, the stand bags, there's a lot of structure in there, and those things can't be folded down. So a lot more boxes, bigger boxes, and a lot more coming on a pallet.
Cool. Is Charlie Golf Co. your first entrepreneurial venture, or have you done things like this in the past?
No, it's a great question. It is. Well, I've always had these like little ideas here and there. And like I have a buddy that we always bounce ideas off of. Like I don't. It was one of those things where it's like we sort of always dabbled in it, but we never really like went full bore. And this one, it was just, I was very passionate about it, obviously, like with golf and being in the golf industry, for my kid. And like, there's a story of just even how I grew up playing, like when I was that young, and just knowing that like parents want to introduce it just, I was extremely passionate about it. And, like there's always a little luck involved with it. I don't know if it was, a timing thing or what it was, but, social media sort of, like there was a couple viral posts that went around and, really helped, kickstart the business and, sort of take it from there. So this is really my first go around with it. And I'm learning something new, like literally every day. Like I'm just trying to figure it out. A lot of the stuff I don't really know. And you just sort of find a way to get things done. There's a lot of information out there that you can find, and a lot of people that will help you as well.
Cool, totally. We're gonna get into the marketing and the media stuff, but before that, from the point of you saying I'm gonna do this to getting that first physical bag, what did that process look like in turning your vision into a physical, tangible thing?
So like turning it into the actual product.
Yeah. So did you draw? Like, how did you go about that? Receiving that.
I had the sketch, and then the good thing is like my kid was the perfect age. So I had the perfect model for what I thought was going to be, something a little bit more unique to the market for, that young kid, because in my head, I didn't think that a kid needed a 3-year-old. I'm saying like 3 to 5-year-old. I don't think that they need a 2-strap, backpack style golf bag. I don't think they really need a stand. I don't think they can really figure it out. And they don't need a whole lot of pockets. They need a couple golf balls and a few tees. So I just wanted something very simple that they would be able to pick up, throw around. I've followed like McKinsey golf bags. I mean, like there's other bags out there for adults that are like the bigger Sunday style carry bags. And I didn't, there was nothing out there for that super like 3 to 5-year-old kid. So I sort of took that inspiration there and made it a little bit smaller.
Yeah,
Nope.
like my bag has a cooler attached. There's no need for that with your 3-year-old.
No, simple. Need to keep it simple for them.
So in the last 15 months, have you seen people trying to copy what you're doing?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes, it's coming. It's one of those things that it really bothered me at first. It still somewhat does. And I don't know, I might have taken a unique approach to this, where maybe other people would, I don't know if they would agree with this. I mute them on social media. I try to keep them completely out of my brain. I have an idea of what they're doing. And if I need to, I will like jump on their website and take a look, but I mute them. And I just had the mindset of, I'm going to continue to tell my story. I'm going to continue to build my brand the way that I want to. And I'm going to lead this category right now of growing the toddler golf market and, growing that and telling my story, doing it my way. And, you know, we'll see what happens with it, but I wasn't going to let them ruin my day by seeing the lookalikes come out. I completely mute them and try to sort of keep them out of my head.
Well said. And a great expression is a great start is so important. It's like everything. In the first 6 months, how did you guys do in sales?
First 6 months.
Yeah.
So it was.
'Cause I know you guys sold out like in like a matter of 30 minutes when you guys released a bunch.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna really talk about the sales wise,
Hmm.
but we sold out of, I'm trying to think, it was 8 or 9 drops. It was about 3,000 bags,
Wow.
800 sets of clubs.
Wait, 3,000 bags came out of your garage?
Yeah,
More than that now, yeah.
we've done almost 7,000 orders out of our garage in the 15 months.
Wow.
And that was just, I mean, yeah, we're approaching 7,000 orders out of our garage.
So
Um,
how often are you dropping new material?
Dropping new material as far as like what are you?
Bet like new designs, new
Yeah,
what yeah.
we have a few colorways.
Yep.
We have a
I,
few colorways. We
I
only
see
have
you
the
wearing a
one.
hat. Do you sell merch too?
We do not. Not right now. I'm trying to stay extremely focused on what our core is right
Yeah.
now, and
Makes
our
sense.
core is the golf bag and the club sets. So I wanted to keep the club sets one choice, one option, keep it extremely simple. I didn't think you needed multiple choices for, a toddler. I didn't think you needed multiple lengths for a toddler. I wanted the person, the parent or grandparent could choose a color of bag, add the clubs, and they're done. They don't
Good
have
to
to think
go.
about everything. So we have like some, like, I think we have 7 colors right now. We'll work on like a couple others, like just sort of drop in here and there, or if people request them, or like sort of looking at a light blue one right now. But yeah, we're trying to keep that extremely simple. We'll work with collaborations with some other brands as well to do some unique designs or unique colorways with some embroidery with it. Yeah, and then starting to do some logoed bags as well for country clubs for the wholesale side.
That's
Now, did
cool.
did you ever think your golf bags would make it to Augusta National?
No, I did not. I mean, it was let's see, I think it was about the February. It was in my head that was the one of the original plans, is like, that this would be cool. Let's do a green bag,
Hmm.
similar to Augusta color. My dad loved the Masters. Like, my birthday's always on Masters week. Let's just make that thing, and we'll drop it, around the Masters week.
Yep.
Um, and I put out a tweet, in February or something, and Jessica Hadwin, Jessica Hadwin and I got connected, and she was the original that, purchased the bag and got it out there, and she got a couple other friends involved. So it was cool to see the Canadian group walking down,
Yeah.
the par 3 contest, where there was a few bags there. I know Corey Connors had it, Adam Hadwin, Malnati had it. Yeah, so it was really cool to see. Hopefully
It,
this year we can get our bags back out there.
Oh yeah.
man, that's exciting stuff. So you see and that's, you said you're 15 months in. That's quite a turnaround, right? You start a few months prior, and then, you find yourself at Augusta
Yeah.
National. How
What were
about
you guys
that?
like 4 or
That was
5 months?
would have been 4 months
Yeah.
in, where we didn't even have product. I mean, everything was sold out at that point, because we at that point in the business, we were literally getting bags, dropping them. They would sell out literally in minutes. And then, you take the revenue from that, you reinvest it in, you get bags in, you keep increasing it as you can. And just keep dropping bags, and it creates demand. It creates a little scarcity effect. So yeah, that's why, I mean, it took 9 drops, I think, before we even got, even like had inventory like
Yeah.
in our hands.
Now you've been working full time at this since January. What does your day to day look like now?
Yeah, so day to day, I'm always up early. So I am up very early, try to get up before the kids. And I don't know, I sort of bounce out of bed now. I haven't set an alarm for a long time, and I sort of wake up at the same time. And I'll scroll like social media in the morning, do some things on the computer, but take my kid to preschool, 3 or 4 days a week now. Surprised him picking up, around 11 o'clock today, and he was all jacked up about that.
Nice.
So, yeah, so do that, get the orders printed out, fulfilled, work on the marketing side of things. And I'm focused a little, on social media quite often, but like even writing a tweet thread, it takes time and it takes thought. It's not one of those things where it's done in 5 minutes. Like, putting together some of that stuff does take a little bit of time. So focusing on that, continue to build the brand and the story, and sharing it. And I try to share everything like behind the scenes, and showing what I'm doing. And I think it's pretty evident on social media, what
Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
see it. And I think it helps relate, the people to who we are.
Well, let's talk a little bit about social media. Do you guys use Facebook ads? What kind of marketing do you guys use to get your product out there?
Yeah, so it was crazy. I think the first 9 months of the business, it was absolutely all organic. There was nothing, like no paid anything. And then I think in August, I started, playing around with meta ads. I didn't really have a whole lot of, I didn't really have a whole lot of experience at all. I'm still learning that. But we're ramping up our meta ad spend. Really ramped it up around Black Friday, dialed it back a little bit in January, and we're starting to ramp it back up again. Now going back
This
into the
golf season.
spring.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. So that has been a whole new experience for me, but meta ads is one avenue. The social media and organic is a huge driver for me. So I am on, so the brand is on Instagram, and then Twitter is where everything really got started, was on Twitter or X.
Yep.
That's where like I started the wait list. I started telling the story.
And that's where I found you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, Twitter was really the original thing, is where I started telling the story and how it really started to click for me. And then I sort of transferred that on over to Instagram. Instagram has sort of taken off as well. And then I just recently jumped onto LinkedIn after I quit my full-time job, because now I could share my story without feeling guilty about it.
Yep.
With
You
full-time
would
job.
you would probably have some good success on TikTok as well.
Yeah, I have. So I don't even have TikTok. I'm,
Yeah.
I have been told that it's something that I could probably start looking at here, that I
hmm
have a little bit more time, but I don't even have TikTok on my phone. I dabbled with it for a hot minute, and I didn't really get into it. I didn't really enjoy it that much, and I sort of just got rid of it and focused on what I could at the time.
I get, yeah, it's a lot with all these different social media apps, but I know with TikTok, my mom's on it all the time, and she's
Hmm.
always they make it so easy when you see a video. There's just like you could link like to buy right on the video, that she's always
You
buying
link
stuff that
products.
just shows up to
Okay.
our front door. So I think that's something you should tap into, because it's just the you're looking at the reel, and then there's just a tap button right there. It takes you right to your website.
I'll take a look at it
Yeah.
and start learning a little bit more, because other people have told me the same thing too. So I'll have to take a look at it.
How exciting. So at this point in time, how many bags does, or not just your son, but all of your kids, how many do they have?
So, well, Charlie still had, so Charlie is the boy. He's 4.5. He still has his original blue bag right now. We were testing a few with the embroidery machine, putting in his name on it, because we had to test a whole bunch of different fonts. So
hmm
now there's like 8 of them back here. The girl, my daughter loves pink, so she only has her pink bag. And then, yeah, I mean, we have a gray bag ready for the the new edition coming here in a few weeks. But we're looking at a different color bag that we can name then after when the new kid comes. But
How exciting.
yeah, and then
And
Charlie, when he gets a little bit older, I mean, he's still too small for the junior style bag that we have prototypes of. But I think it's cool that like as Charlie continues to grow and as my kids continue to grow, the business sort of continues to grow with it, and the products start growing with the kids.
yeah.
So that's sort of what I think that's a pretty cool thing about the business as well. What I hope will happen.
And it's one of those oh gosh, it's like it's very close to the heart, right? It's like
It's a
heartfelt.
feel good story.
Yeah, well, it's not the story, but the physical thing will. It's like if a grandparent or an aunt or uncle buys something like that, even as the kid ages, it's one of those things that stays in the
Yeah, you don't
house
really throw
forever.
that away.
No, like forever in the bedroom, hung up over the TV, whatever the case may be.
I think it is a 100% a keepsake item
Yeah.
because it's very similar. My dad still has the putter from when I was 2 years old. He still has
Yeah.
my very first club at his house in the basement. Like my kids would play with it over the holidays, and like I always thought it was the coolest thing. So he still keeps it, and I could just only imagine, having a bag, and then when that kid turns to be 30 and he sees the bag at his parents' house from the very beginning. Like golf is very generational in that way. It has always been handed down. It's how I got started with it. So I think there's a lot of other families like that as well.
Well, your dad, let's talk about a little bit about that. He was superintendent. What was it like growing up on a golf course like that?
So you have to realize it was a town of 2,500 people.
Okay.
It's a small rural 9-hole golf course. It's a great 9-hole golf course. I thoroughly like to go back and play.
Hmm.
It got sort of beaten up a few years ago. There was a derecho that went through and really wiped out a lot of the trees, but still it's fun to go back and play. But yeah, he was a superintendent at that golf course, at my hometown golf course, for I don't know, it was probably close to 20 years. I worked out there. I mean, I weed eated the ditches, I mowed the fairways, I mowed the greens. Like it was fun to be out there. Spent a ton of the time on the driving range, but I loved being on the golf course. Like I just loved being on the golf course. After school, I would go to the golf course and I would just be out there until literally dark. I had a really, really good friend that helped. Like we just loved playing golf. And it was cool that friend actually ended up being on the Northern Iowa golf team with me. So it's cool. I have
Awesome.
two little small town kids, that just love playing golf and making up holes, as you go and doing different things like that to have fun out there. But yeah, I mean, my dad, I would say, yeah, I grew up on the golf course. My grandpa's nickname was Birdie. My dad, you know,
Yeah.
was the
And
superintendent.
you're
It
keeping
just
the
got
tradition.
introduced and handed down to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely.
Well, with that said, you and your dad have probably had some epic showdowns, yes?
On the golf course.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, he still plays and hits it really well. He was a very good golfer. Like when he was younger, he thought that he should have been on the University of Iowa golf team. He didn't get the spot. He's still salty about it to this day. And then he ended up dropping out of college, about a semester in. So, it didn't really work out for him, but he has not beat me for a while now. It's still like he's still competitive to the point where he thinks he can beat me every single time we're on the golf course. And, I know that, and I don't want him to beat me, but it took a long time for me to actually beat him.
What
Like,
what are you guys' handicaps?
my so my dad right now, he's probably like a +7.
Oh,
Is what
plus
or not a plus
seven?
seven. He's a 7.
Okay.
I'm probably a
Okay.
plus. I think I'm a +1.5.
I was
Okay.
gonna say Pop should be in the Champions Tour.
No, yeah, he's a 7. I'm just yeah. I think I'm a +1.5. Last time I
Awesome.
played, and
You guys have some good matches.
yeah, it's fun.
What has founding so 15 months last summer especially have you had more time to golf?
Um, I would say it's it's weird because I'll go out to the golf course with my kid and I love that. Like, but I don't necessarily, when I'm out there with my kid, it's not like I'm playing 9 holes necessarily like with my ball. Like
Yeah.
I like we hit balls around, and like if like when you guys get older and you guys get kids, or yeah, I'm not sure if you have kids, but a
Not yet.
4-year-old doesn't have a whole lot of attention span. Like you got to keep them entertained. They like to do other things on the golf course. Sometimes they'll sit in the car. Like I probably played more golf last year than I have in previous summers. Um, I had a few buddies trips, always planned on the calendar, but I mean, yeah, just going out to like these little small 9-hole golf courses around our area to play, I would say, yeah, I probably played a lot more last summer. And plus I need like pictures and marketing material as well. So that's part
True.
of the reason we head out there too.
Does Charlie's love for the game grow every time he gets out there?
He's starting to understand it a lot more. And I think that's really cool. Like he has the correlation of riding the golf cart. He understands that he can get like a Powerade or a Gatorade when he goes there, and like a bag of chips. Like so, he does enjoy that piece of it. It's fun seeing him like get a little bit frustrated when he doesn't hit it very like if he misses or like he doesn't hit it as good as he thinks he can. So he does have like a little competitive juice to him, even as a 4-year-old, a little fire to him. So he is picking up the game so much quicker now, which is really cool. Walking in the
Amazing.
greens, knowing what the fairway is, and it is cool to see him start to understand it a lot more.
And Tyler,
Very
the
cool.
sky is obviously the limit for you guys. What are your guys' plans and goals for 2025 and then long term as your kid keeps getting older and older?
Yeah, so 2025, there are a few things we've already talked about, but the embroidery is a big piece of it. The personalization of the bags,
Yep.
introducing the junior set, so introducing that next line
Like
is going
that.
to be a real big hurdle for us and a big challenge for us as well. And then the wholesale market is something where we need to be more active in that, because a lot of that's been organic, but we do have quite a few golf courses now reaching out to us wanting to carry our bags in their pro shops.
Nice.
So the wholesale would be an area that we would like to grow. As far as long term is concerned, I just want to have a sustainable growing business, and really just focused on the kids space. I don't want to continue, like at some point you got to stop it. Like I don't ever want to get into the adult space, or like people keep, there's been a few comments I think today even on Twitter just saying, hey, can you do this in an adult bag? And I do not want to do anything in that space. I want to stay focused on the kids market, and then find ways where we can continue to improve the product and grow it. But ideally, it would be awesome to have our kids take over. Let's say
Oh
15
yeah.
years down the road. Like that would be the coolest thing to me.
Cool. Well, Tyler, you found a very cool niche, and I'm excited to see your growth, brother. Very exciting times, and Godspeed to you and your
And
family. Cool
where's the
stuff.
best place for our listeners to buy a bag?
Yeah. So our website www.charliegolfco.com, and then you can find me on Instagram, uh, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. So we're sort of all over social media. Not on TikTok yet,
Awesome.
so we'll work on that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank Tyler.
Tyler,
Future
we
is
really
bright.
appreciate you coming on. Have a great
Appreciate it, guys.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
man.